My name is Jason, and this is Just Watches. Okay, today we have a prototype of a watch that will soon be available on Kickstarter and Indiegogo on April 5th, 2022. This is the Legatodiver, a musically inspired watch from Timepieces that was lent in for a review by Adrian, the creator of this watch. For more information on the backstory and design inspiration for this watch, I will have a link in the description below. Now, before we get into the review, if you're enjoying the content of this channel, I invite you to subscribe, and if you're enjoying the content of this individual video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much. So price and availability, this watch will be available on April 5th, 2022 for an early bird special price of $489. The full MSRP will be $659. This watch comes in a very nice wooden case that includes the watch, extra strap, and the warranty card. The warranty is good for 2 years. So the case is 39.5 millimeters in diameter. It's 46 millimeters lug to lug, but the end links are proud of the actual lugs, so the true lug to lug distance is about 51 millimeters. It's then 12.5 millimeters thick and has a 20 millimeter lug width opening. Sized up for my 6 3/4 inch wrist, it weighs in 146 grams on the bracelet. The finishing on this case is very good. There is a well-executed high-polish bevel that runs along the top and the bottom of the entire length of the case. The rest of the case has a brush finish that's very consistent with the end link and all the way down the bracelet. The lugs take an aggressive turn down, and despite the fact that the end links do extend past those lugs, this one sits fine on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. The lugs are also pierced for easy strap changes. The exhibition caseback adds a bit of thickness to the watch, but again, the downturn lugs help here, and I find it wears very comfortably. The stock 3-link bracelet starts at 20 millimeters and tapers all the way down to 16 millimeters. There is zero play between the end link and the head of the watch, which is impressive because this bracelet uses a quick release system. I have found this will sometimes lead to a bit of play, but that is absolutely not the case here. The articulation of the bracelet against the back of the watch is excellent, as is the articulation between the links. Both of these factors are going to make a bracelet wear extremely comfortable. The clasp is a double push to plant with nice high polished bevels and a fully milled scissor, a safety catch, and 6 micro adjustments. It is also signed with MW. This is a clasp used by many micro brands, but this one is much thinner than I have seen before at 19 millimeters. This really preserves the elegance of the dramatic 4 millimeter taper of the bracelet and was an excellent choice here. The small links in combination with this many micro positions will ensure you will get an excellent fit. Sizing is accomplished with screws, and a 1 millimeter screwdriver was included for this purpose. The watch also comes with a stock calfskin leather strap that starts at 20 millimeters and tapers down to 15 millimeters. The leather is soft but sturdy and has nice clean stitching with bronze color thread that complements the brown of the strap nicely. The pin and collar are nicely brushed and signed with MW. The strap also utilizes a quick release system. The screw-down exhibition caseback helps with the 300 meters of water resistance. The caseback is beautifully engraved and features a sapphire crystal that is decorated with vertical lines to mimic guitar strings. This, in combination with that beautiful engraving, really does give the appearance of an acoustic guitar. The effect is really well executed. It is really nice to see a Sellita SW200 used at this price point. This is an automatic Swiss-made movement that features hand winding, hacking, 28,800 vibrations per hour for that smoother 4 Hz sweep, a 38-hour power reserve, and a quick set date. The stated accuracy is between plus and minus 12 seconds a day. The 7 millimeter screw down crown is nicely knurled. The final production version will have even better knurling here, but I found the crown on this prototype was very nice. It's signed with the MW logo, and that logo is also loomed, which is a fun touch. The threading and unthreading action is very smooth, and it is very easy to wind and operate the watch via this crown. The flat sapphire crystal is perfectly flush with the bezel and treated with 10 layers of anti-reflective coating. This really helps with the legibility of the dial, and I always appreciate a sapphire crystal with AR coating, so zero complaints here. The 120 click unidirectional bezel has a nice grippy gear edge. The action is tight and tactile, not too hard to turn, and lines up perfectly at 12. The insert is inspired by the fretboard of a guitar. It is engraved stainless steel, but then covered with sapphire. The sapphire of the bezel is perfectly flush with the crystal, which gives a very clean look. The bezel is also fully loomed. Obviously, this is a great tie-in to the overall theme and design of the watch. The only downside is it might be a bit trickier if you're used to timing things with your dive bezel to quickly tell how much time has elapsed due to the lack of numbers on the insert. The dial on this version is fully loomed. Starting at the edge of the dial is a black half railroad track that shows the minutes. The MW logo resides at 12, and I'm told on the final production version the font used will be a bit thinner, and on the non-loomed dial versions this logo will be loomed as well. Legatodiver is nicely printed at 6 with 300 meters and 1,000 feet in red, which is a nice splash of color on this otherwise monochromatic dial. The indices are applied and etched in black. The date window at 6 has a white loomed Arabic numeral against a black background, and I love the effect. The date position also preserves the symmetry of the dial. Finally, designed in Indonesia is tucked below the date. A note here on the handset, the hands will be changed on the final production model. The hour hand will be thicker and a touch longer to help differentiate it from the minute hand. Now both hands are syringe style, and the minute hand is nice and long, reaching all the way to the tick marks at the edge of the dial. The second hand is a double lollipop with a loomed lollipop and a splash of red at the tip. The contrast between the dial, hands, and indices is excellent, and this watch is extremely legible. Here is the loom shot next to a Seiko Monster, and you can see the loom is bonkers. Now, I've been told the loom on the production model will be even better than on this prototype, but even if it was just the same level, it's very powerful, as you can see. On the time grapher, we're losing about 14 seconds a day, so a little bit below the stated accuracy for the Sellita S200, but as this is just a prototype, I wouldn't worry about this on the final production model. And here is the watch on my 6 3/4 inch wrist on the bracelet, and despite those longer end links, the curve down on the lugs really helps it fit here. It also helps it ride a bit lower to the wrist despite the extra thickness from the exhibition caseback. And I think it also wears great on the leather strap that is provided. With the mostly black and white colors of this watch, I think it will be an absolute strap monster. So pros and cons, starting with the pros. Well, at the early bird price, this watch is an absolute spec monster. I think they could have easily gone with a Miyota 9015 here, but I'm surprised to see the Sellita was used at this price point. The bracelet is extremely comfortable, as is the leather strap, and with a quick release system on both, changing straps will be a snap. Finally, I think the thematic design is integrated in a way that isn't overly loud or disruptive to the overall design of the watch. As for cons, well, the strength of the thematic design is probably also a weakness, as it won't be for everyone. However, I'm always happy to see micro brands be very expressive with their designs. Secondly, while the curve down of the lugs make it less of an issue, I generally dislike end links that extend past the lugs and would have preferred negative end links here. It's difficult to offer comparables for such a unique watch, but at the early bird price, this watch is extremely competitive. You're getting the same specifications of a Steinhardt, which I consider one of the very best value for money watch brands, but with better case finishing, an extra strap, and a quick release system on the bracelet, which is really convenient, and in this case, extremely well executed. At full MSRP, it's priced where you find most NTH watches, except you're still getting a better movement here, as NTH more commonly uses Miyota 9000s. Overall, I'm really impressed by this watch, and I think MW Timepieces is going to be very successful, and I'm already curious and interested about what they'll be doing next. So there you have it, the Legatodiver from MW Timepieces. What do you think of this watch? Let me know in the comments below. As always, if you're enjoying the content of this channel, I invite you to subscribe, and if you like the contents of this individual video, please give it a thumbs up. That's all for this time. My name is Jason, and you have been watching Just Watches.